One of the best backpacking adventures for first-time backpackers. Trip report in 30 seconds, 4 videos at the end. Camping in the West Fork of the Santa Barbara River Meadows in the Pecos Wilderness and hiking Little Jicarita Peak West, 12,271 feet in elevation. I convinced my wife and 4 daughters to go on a backpacking camping adventure. Years ago, I was too overly ambitious and took my 2 sons, Garrett 12 and Brandon 10, on a 35-mile hike, hiking the Santa Barbara River Loop in Truchas Peak. It was too much for Brandon, and he never wanted to do it again. For years, I thought of how I would have done it differently, and this hike was part of my plan and was a perfect fit for my 4 daughters. I would highly recommend this hike and the Williams Lake hike I took 2 years ago with my daughters for a good first-time hiking experience. Their first backpacking experience was when we hiked Williams Lake in the Wheeler Peak Wilderness 2 years ago. Both trips were a lot of work for me, preparing all of them, carrying most of the equipment, and doing most of the work to make everyone less burdened. We left the house at 5:45 a.m. Saturday, August 7, 2010, and headed through the town of Truchas to Santa Barbara Campground in northern New Mexico. We started hiking from the campground at 9:30 a.m. at an elevation of 8,800 feet. It was a cool, crisp, clear morning. My wife and daughters carried an average of about 20 pounds. I was the pack horse, carrying about 50 pounds. 2 3-man tents, all of our group gear, and most of our food. Our hiking goal was the West Fork of the Santa Barbara River Meadows, a 5-mile hike. I picked this hike for them because it was a very gradual elevation change, only about 1,100 feet in 5 miles, and one of the prettiest places you could ever camp. I was a little worried about hiking problems, but they did very well. They hiked much better than our first hike. We entered the Pecos Wilderness and followed the West Fork of the Santa Barbara River, hiking by the beautiful river the whole time. We arrived at the Meadows at 1 p.m., 3.5 hours, including our lunch. The Meadows are about a mile long, filled with wildflowers. A beautiful stream runs on the west side with beaver dams on the far south. We found a wonderful place to camp at the edge of the meadows by a horseshoe rushing stream. We were surrounded by the stream in our camping area. We set up camp and started a fire. It rained for about a half hour, then quit. We had a relaxing dinner of different types of dehydrated foods. I found some puffball mushrooms, cooked them up, and we enjoyed the delicacy. Later in the evening, the 6 of us played cards in one of the tents. My peak bagging goal was Little Jicarita Peak West, sometimes called Peak 12,271. I asked who wanted to go at the crack of dawn and only had one taker, my daughter Lauren. We started hiking on a cool, perfectly clear morning. My dog Daisy also went along. We started hiking at 6:30 a.m. The GPS said it was 2 miles as the crow flies, so I figured we would hike about a third more. We hiked south to the end of the meadows and headed straight up the mountain. It was a difficult way to go with logs to climb over and a real workout on the legs. Partway up the mountain, it got a little better, and we did not have to go over quite as many logs. We hiked through the thick of the trees, boulder fields, steep meadows. I had a feeling at times that Lauren might have had a few regrets about going. We arrived at the tree-covered ridge after hiking 2 hours and 15 minutes. It is always a relief reaching ridgeline. For me, the hardest part of the hike was over. We had a relaxing 1.2-mile hike over the ridge to the peak. We arrived at the peak at 9:45 a.m., 3 hours and 15 minutes of hiking, and about 3 miles from our camp. Lauren has now done 4 12K peaks. It was very chilly on top. The views were staggering. We took pictures and enjoyed the vistas for about 45 minutes, then headed down. I backtracked our route until we came to the difficult area with the trees, then I went further north. It was much better. We mostly hiked down a steep wildflower and grass-filled meadows. Lauren lost her cell phone somewhere along the way. We reached the trail and headed north to our camp. On the way, we checked out some very extensive beaver dams. We arrived back at camp at 1 p.m., 6.5 hours and 6 miles of hiking. We had coffee and a very late breakfast and packed up and headed down, leaving camp at 3:30 p.m. The girls roared down the trail. We had a late lunch along the way and arrived back at the car at 6:30. Lauren and I and my dog Daisy hiked 11 miles today. We all could really feel it. It was a great experience for all of us. It was actually kind of sweet to me. My wife said it was the first time she really liked camping and was talking about more trips, and my daughters appeared to have a wonderful time. The first time that I took them camping, they seemed a bit tender. This time it felt like they were really in the groove. If anyone is going to take first-time backpackers for the sheer beauty of mountains and ease of the hike, I would recommend the 2.5-mile Williams Lake camping by the waterfall. For a second trip, I would recommend this hike, the West Fork of the Santa Barbara Meadows. Lauren and I hiked a total of 16 miles and had an up-down elevation gain of 3,471 feet. My wife and 3 other daughters hiked a total of 11 miles. What a wonderful family adventure. Here we are at the West Fork of the Santa Barbara, and a beautiful little camping area that we've stayed in. Today is August 8th, 2010. And here's our little stream. It does a whole little horseshoe around us. And Jennifer and Christina and Lauren and I just went up and did 6 miles this morning. Got up about 6 o'clock and did Little Jicarita West Peak. And wait a minute, here's Natalie. And put your backpacks on. We're getting ready to go. And Daisy. Christina's getting her backpack. There's Daisy. We don't want to forget Daisy. Everybody's getting ready to load up. It took us about 5 miles to get here. And then Lauren and I did 6 miles while they all slept this morning. I got up at 5:45. And what?
That's the prettiest spot here is over here.
And here's our little... This is the swimming hole, but they didn't go swimming. It's ice cold, freezing. And so here we are. There's where we had our campfire. And right over there, a tent. And right here is where Lauren and Natalie and Christina and Jennifer all had their tents. It's been a beautiful camping trip. We've even played cards in the tent last night. And I've hiked 41 of the 63, 12, and 13,000 foot peaks I need. Lauren's done 5.
That's our pack horse, pack mule.
The pack horse. Don't stop it. I'll get a picture of the peak here, too. And there's Daisy. Daisy got her little pack here. Daisy's already hiked 6 miles this morning. She said, wait a minute. I'm not ready. Daisy's usually hopping and ready to go. Here's the beautiful Meadows. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous area to camp. One of the best. Way out there. That's the peak Lauren and I did. 12,266 feet high. Little Jicarita West Peak. And losing it. There it is. Right there. There's some beaver dams up ahead, but I think we'll probably skip the beaver dams, right, everybody? Since we're all worn out, we're heading out across the meadow. Daisy's decided to come, and it's been a beautiful 2-day, 1-night backpacking trip. Thank you. Today is August 8th, 2010, and this is the beautiful little Santa Barbara River. We have just been up. Listen to it as I cross. There's up the stream. Beautiful little river. We've been way up that canyon. A beautiful little view down. Now, we have hiked up. Lauren and I today hiked Little Jicarita West Peak. And it took 5 miles to get up to the beautiful meadows on the West Fork of the Santa Barbara. And there's the whole crew over there. There's Daisy. Daisy's coming first. Daisy hiked the peak today. We will have done, Lauren, Daisy, and I will have done 11 miles by the time we get back. We did Little Jicarita West Peak, and Daisy has done it. She made it. Now here's all the girls. Here comes Jennifer. Been doing a great job of hiking. Now I'm hoping that we get one of them to fall in so that we get... Natalie, go ahead and fall in. Here comes Natalie. She's done a great job. Go ahead and fall in. There she is. Great job of hiking. Here comes Christina. Christina, go ahead. Fall in and make a good video. There she is. Here comes Lauren. Lauren and I did a peak today. 6 miles up and back. She did a great job. There she is. Fall in, make a good picture. And I get a picture of me here.
Go. Don't stop. Barely.